the Happy Submissive podcast. Now, there's something very... Oops. Sorry about that. This issue. So cool.
It's all cool. All cool. We're cool.
We're almost cool. Okay. Introduction. Yeah, if it's your first time, second time, third time, doesn't matter. Welcome to the podcast. Now, I want to talk about, cars. Yes, for those of you who enjoy cars, but also for those of you who might enjoy submission, because that's what we're talking about on the Happy Submissive podcast. Where's the correlation? Where's the similarities between cars, AIs, automations, self-driving, and, trust, all of these things together. So we're going to put them all together and make sure that we have the best show ever. I'm going to need to just redo some of my setup here because of what's been happening. Now, my name is Marianne Delacroix, also famously known on the internet as Piper Blush. Ooh, yeah. And I wrote the memoir, Why Submissive Women Are Happier. You can find it on Amazon. Yeah, it's available now. And decided to actually create this podcast, Why Submissive Happy. Wow, this is a great start.
Okay, a great start.
That's a great start.
This is perfect.
This is after the holidays, right? So everybody's just kind of coming back to it. So the Happy Submissive podcast is here. Yeah, and you can listen to it wherever you get your podcast. Master, I'm going to need you to turn off my computer. The computer. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to redo this.
Let's redo that.
No, not redo it for real. Just redo. And for those of you who don't know Master, he's here on the podcast with me. Give me a second. I just need to redo my... so I have this little thing that I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Okay. Now you can put it back on.
Okay, we're cool.
Yeah, we're cool.
Okay.
And now... we're gonna go to the first segment. So there are segments in the podcast. The first one is the AI segment. The second one is the relationship segment. The third one is the book segment. Fourth segment is the gossip girl segment. And then there's Q&As, but also we've implemented something new. If you're listening here live on the podcast, you can call in. I'm going to give you the number because I don't know it by heart. So it is 236 454-0385. And we take callers while we're live on YouTube at Piper Blush.
This is gonna be a great show.
This is gonna be a great show. All right, let's roll this up. Bam, bam, bam.
Do you wanna be my AI girlfriend? Play pretend until the servers
Perfect.
end. Talk back, glitch out, drive me insane.
We still need human interaction. This is happysubmissive.com, artificial intelligence news.
Well,
Whoa.
see, it was the most human introduction ever.
Yes, full of mistakes.
Full of mistakes,
But
full
it's
of
fine.
random stuff. My head was lost, but I'm back in the game now. Totally back in the game. Self-driving cars and submission. Yeah, the submission of trust. So, myself and Master, we have had a few cars in our lifetime. Master more than I, because he's older, so that makes more sense. And
What was your first car?
my first car was a Volvo.
What color?
It was white.
Oh, for some reason, after all those years.
I got two, that's why.
Okay, that's why I don't remember the white one.
Yeah, because I didn't have it for long. So I got the first one was the Volvo. It was a turbo one. And the second one was the green one. And that one
Okay.
was the hatchback one.
For some reason,
The first one had it was like a normal one. Like it had like a trunk.
Do you remember what the number of it?
No,
No, okay.
no, something 70, but I think that was the other one. There's one that was GLE.
The 70s with the hatchback one.
Yeah, that's that one. The other one was a turbo. And it had you could you were driving and the turbo would okay, now you can use it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't use it before. Yeah, but I didn't have that one for long.
Did you know that Volvo invented the heated seat?
I had no idea.
And it was not for the cold, it was for the back pain.
Oh, interesting.
fact.
Yeah, because I love the heated seat in it because it was Quebec is so cold. So I really enjoyed that. And the wipers on the lights, that just doesn't work.
Yeah,
not a
it stopped
thing.
working.
That's not a thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't go through. So we had a few cars. Master, what was your first car?
It was Mazda 626, 1979.
Yeah. Plus, well, you really like then you like Volkswagen, because then you got a
Yeah.
GTI at one
Yeah, I
point.
got a GTI.
Mm-hmm.
Golf GTI. Badass car.
Super badass car. All right. And then, well, back in those days, there was no self-driving, but there was cruise control.
Yeah. Did you trust your Volvo?
Trust, no. It was old. Everything was breaking. It's like your first car, right? I paid like $0 for it. It was like a friend of my father's who gave it to me. It was like moldy. Everywhere. Yeah, it was like
Wow.
just in a driveway for the longest time. So it was like mold everywhere, like in and out the car. But like it did a good job with it. But I had it, I think, for like maybe a summer and a half, and then I left. So I just gave it to the scrapyard. They gave me $160 for it.
Ooh, good return on investment.
So that one, I don't think, maybe it had cruise control, but I did not use it because like, I didn't. I had no trust. I had trust issues with that car. But that was like the first implementation, right, Master?
The
So
cruise control.
the cruise control.
I remember when I was a kid, my father used to have his bus car, and it was a big Lincoln 1972 maybe or something like that. And he had cruise control, and
Yeah.
we were like freaking out. This car drives itself. But it was not driving itself. It was just the gas.
I think it's in the movie The Anchorman or something with Will Ferrell, and they're like all in the big van and they get like cruise control and they're just like driving, and one guy's like, oh, it drives itself now, goes to cruise control. So they stop driving and they all go in the back of the van to do other stuff, and you just see I think it's that movie. You just see like, you know, those vans that have like wolves
yeah.
on it and stuff, like that type of van, and it just goes off the road. But it was a thing, right? People thought it would it was driving itself, like cruise control. It was gonna turn, it was gonna stop, it was gonna do all these things.
Actually, we knew that we need to, drive it, but just the pedal, the gas pedal for us was driving itself.
Yeah, this is crazy. And then there was this there's this trust, right? You need to like put it on, and then you need to be like, okay, I'm not gonna put my feet there. I'm gonna remove my feet. Some people leave their feet there. I was the type of person when I started using cruise control, I kind of leave my feet there. I didn't like put my feet up.
But if you touch not the gas, but if you touch the brake, it disables it.
Yeah, if you touch the brake, it disables. So that was me. And then when I got like different type of cars, that was later in life, a lot later in life. We had the kind of like cruise control that was like, what was it called? Adaptive cruise control?
Yeah, the adaptive. When if the car brakes in front, it brakes. It slow down. It doesn't brake, but it slow down.
Yeah, so it kind of sees the car in front of you, and then it adapts, or it can follow too, right? You can have it so it kind of follows the speed of the car in front.
It does follow. That's what it makes for.
So you have so that one was a bit more secure, but again, I think that the thing that was not too secure was like the distance at which it brakes or it starts braking.
But you can control it.
Yeah. We had like a little toggle.
Yeah, 7. It goes from
It
1
like-
to 7.
Yeah, meters, and you could go like that. The Teslas have it too. So why are we talking about all of this? Well, mostly because this morning after the CES, Consumer Electronics Show, Master was like actually was watching. You were watching YouTube videos, and it was about Jensen Huang, the guy who actually created NVIDIA, so AI.
The guy who is responsible for all the teenage that stay in their room and doesn't go outside.
Oh, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Because of
Graphic card.
graphic cards.
And Elon Musk, and like this new race for like not just self-driving, because self-driving is already a thing, right? And that's what we're gonna get into. But the fact that like Tesla has full self-drive now, so you can just put it on and do it. And well, Jensen Huang with his NVIDIA and all that stuff, well, they're partnering with Mercedes to have also the full self-drive, which is also available on Mercedes as much as it is on some Tesla models, of course. And well, it's like who's got the better full self-drive, right? Who's got the better AI? Who's got like the data? Who can be the safest at this thing?
Because people still have trust issue with self-driving.
It is new and it's big. So we came from the actual, cruise control.
Dude, that was the word you were looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Adaptive cruise control, and then self-drive. So we had sort of a self-drive on our Chevy Volt.
Yeah, it was some kind of a
Cruise control with an
line
extra.
assist,
Yeah, line
but-
assist. It was line assist.
but it was not efficient at all.
Well, in the turns it was not great. Like it's just not.
Trust issue.
Yeah, trust issues. We tried it. Also, it had like self-park, but oh my God, did it go fast to self-park? I had major trust issues with the self-park on
Yeah, major. I think we kind of try it like once or twice,
Yeah.
but that
break,
was
break,
it.
break.
So we paid 2,000 more just for that option that we never used.
Well, okay. I think though the thing is that it kind of prepared us for what was coming. So if you use the cruise control, if you use the adaptive cruise control, then if you use the line assist or like all these other packages, and then when you get a Tesla or when a newer model cars, now they all have this kind of self-drive. It's not full self-drive, but it's similar, right? It does the line assist, it follows the car in front, it brakes. It doesn't necessarily brake at a red light, but some even have like the little beep, beep, beep. So it tells you if it's green or red. So these are kind of, you're building this trust to get to full self-drive.
Full. So how do you call it when it's not full
Self-drive. I think it's just,
assisted.
is it assisted?
Supervised. It's supervised self-drive.
Oh, okay. So with our Tesla, we have the just like supervised self-drive.
'Cause
It doesn't fully self-drive.
We need to keep our hand on the steering.
Yeah, and we don't have
And
Sentry
if
mode.
you remove your hands on the steering, it beep 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep, and then you freak out, and it unlock itself.
So you have this kind of you have some safeguards too, right? When you're doing it. So if you press the brake, if it doesn't like something, it's just gonna start yelling at you sorta, and then you're gonna have to retake control in that way of the system of the car. And for full self-drive, well, that's the thing. You need more cameras. You need more data. The car needs data. It needs an AI to like be able to process this data and know what to do in their circumstances. But we have tried full self-drive because when we have put our Tesla like to the mechanics or stuff like that to give you another car, and some of them had full self-drive and tested it. It's actually, I think, getting better and better. I think like the more you're getting to that not trust issue place with full self-drive, the better. Because the other thing would be to have like a zero driver cab. But I feel like you trust that even more because there's no way you can interfere. There's no way you can actually have control if you're like in one of these Waymo or stuff like that.
And we never tried those Waymo
No.
and all those without driver's car.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy on the internet that he really likes it. It's really fine. So I can't wait to try it. But
even the robot
it's
taxi.
a trust kind of thing.
It's a trust kind of thing. But the thing is, you're literally there in the car. There's no driver. There's no nothing. So I feel like that's kind of like being on a train, right? You can't interfere. So you
I
don't.
would rather use that car than driving with my grandma when she was alive.
The older you get, the less reflexes you get. I think that kind of works together.
Is it your grandma that used to drive with both
2 feet?
feet,
Yeah,
2 feet
yeah.
drive? Oh, those are the worst.
Those are crazy people. But I mean, it's just how she had horses. Before she had a car, she had a horse. So you're like, 2 feet's not that bad compared to a cravache. Yeah. Okay, so how is self-drive and driving a car the same way as submission? Well, I feel like it is. Because every time I have used the car and I've put it in either cruise control, full self-drive, self-driver, any type of assistance, you need to have this trust, right? That the car will do this thing for you, with you, and that you're gonna be okay. You're not gonna kill yourself, or you're not gonna kill anybody else. In that way. And Master and I were talking about this too. The fact that I would rather have all tools available. I would way rather have me self-driving and me there, and the car and the AI driving this car, than having like a drunk driver or like grandma that's like 98,
Or
that's
trusting
driving.
your friend that's, been drinking wine and taking some drugs and says, it's fine, I have a self-driving car. Yeah, right. Yeah, but I would prefer self-driving car than she drive,
But exactly. I think, of course, some people are using it in that way. That's unfortunately. But to merge the two together, I think is like the best. Because you get all the power of this like AI, and you get, yourself, right? Your own judgment. You can interfere whenever you want. You can say stop whenever you want. You don't need to just let it go.
Okay.
Safe word.
Safe word. I was about to say that. Do Tesla have a safe word?
It's called a brake pedal. Just press it, and it's like red, code red. When you do that, it's all good. Okay, thank you to people who are dropping in. We got Jean-Michel Valentin. We also have Curson. Sometimes it can be nice, but it feels like our freedom is being restricted. Yeah, some people do have issues with the self-drive.
That's we heard that freedom. What is your freedom with self-drive? Because if someone's drunk, it's your kids.
Yeah.
You don't want him to be free. You want him to be in jail. Freedom. What is freedom?
Well, yeah, exactly. So if you have this tool more, this self-driving, and you can submit to it enough to let it drive for you and assist you in your driving, you're literally putting more people, more help, or even if it's a technology, with yourself. So I think this is an implementation, right? It's like cyborg stuff.
My father, I think, got 3 or 4 accidents, and it was like small accident, nothing like really serious, because when he drives, he's not there, he's not present. So
Yeah, he looks at the field, or he's
but I'm sure he would be the first one to say, like, I don't trust that. Dad, you had 4 accidents so far. What do you mean you don't trust self-driving? I don't trust you.
Well, yeah. So it's an addition. It's an addition. Give us your thoughts. Tell us what you think about that. What you think about self-driving. What you think about how you need to submit to the technology. You need to trust it enough so that you can do it. It's about data for sure. It's about research, but it's also about yourself, about having like the guts to slowly but surely let it go, to feel the trust between you and the technology. Because like we said at the beginning, if you're there and you're trying like full self-drive for the first time, you've never tried it, of course it's going to be a bit scary. Like you have no idea what it does. But if you try it slowly but surely, you get your hands on the wheel, you have the brake pedal, then at one point you're going to be able to like go fully and full self-drive.
Just like a relationship. It's a relationship with your car. It's the same thing with humans. You need to build the trust.
Propose to Mr. Dawson. Will you marry me?
Your daily dose of relationship advice. HappySubmissive.com.
Woohoo! Oh yeah! Okay, talking about relationships, because Master, you opened it really well.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, wherever you're listening, make sure to follow the podcast. There's definitely a little bell icon or a little follow so that you can follow the Happy Submissive podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon, on Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Thank you very much for those of you who are supporting on all of these players, but also if you want to, after you finish listening, go to happysubmissive.com because we have a whole bunch of stuff on there for you to do. And, well, that's the thing, right? Trust and submission go hand in hand. If there is no trust, then there is no submission. Because how could you submit to something you don't understand, or in someone you don't believe in the way that you don't trust them, right? So you can't just let go if you don't trust. And it's the same with the steering wheel. If you don't trust that the car is better off in self-drive mode with you still behind the wheel, well, you won't let go. You won't give it that possibility of better, of less accidents, of less problems. Or even in driving.
Less argument, less everything. You need to let go the steering. When you find a self-driving car at one point and it's proven that it's working, it's fine, and you trust, you need to let it go. Some people can't let it go.
No, some people are not able of doing that. But that's why submissive women are happier, because they're able to. And that brings them further in life and deeper. So, well, that's the same with our relationships. So some people, that's a question we get a lot, Master, and it's like, oh, how can you trust? How can you submit? You just do that. You say like, oh, I'm looking for a submissive girl, and that's it. Or the girl says, oh, I'm looking for a dominant or a master or a leading man. And then, bam, they just do that. It doesn't happen overnight unless you're like having a sex scene.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you're shooting a porno, right? So you sing releases, you go, you do it, and then there's some people there that can stop it if ever. You have like safe words. But that's just the sex aspect. It's not trust in a more complete way. I think like to trust full self-drive, to trust a car to do all these things, you need to have tried it out a little bit. Or else it's dumb to just like be there and not ask questions and not do anything and just let go, just like that.
It's hard to letting go. It's really hard. Most women have problem with that. Fully, they're not at full self-driving yet. They're just like assisted.
Well, at least if you have
I
that,
trust you, but
not for that.
not for that.
And I think like it's interesting how these have like they converge. That's the right word, because the word submission, I say that a lot, but it means a lot of things. It doesn't just mean sexual. There's more submission in everyday life than there is in sex life. Because, well, first things first, how many minutes in your life will you have sex compared to how many minutes in your life will you be at your job, or how many minutes in your life will you be in your relationship? I mean, all those also have hierarchy and also have submission implemented in them in every relationship you have. So if you start with the mindset that trust, of course, has to be earned, but that you're willing to at one point want to be at full self-drive, well, then you can start, right? You can start opening up to this idea of, okay, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to park the car in full self-drive, but there's no car around, so I'm good. I'm not gonna do that on a Saturday at the mall. that might be too much for you at the first time.
It's like the girls when they say like you're gonna need to earn my trust. What do you mean? You're gonna piss me off all the time until, you trust me? Is that as often as that? You earn my trust. What do you mean?
We don't know each other yet.
You're gonna bitch me all the time until it's okay?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, because trust, of course, has to be earned, but there's a way to earn it, right? It's not, you can't just throw that out the first time you see somebody. It doesn't happen like that. And this is like a human need, right? A basic human thing. Of course you need trust to have a relationship. But no one has relationships without trust. That's not a relationship.
The last person that says to us, I don't understand why you trust people easily. She was a fraud.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing Master always says. And it's like he gives trust and love right away. But then he's so sure about him that he can take it back whenever. And I think that's a really big quality in a person. And it's like knowing that you have this power, right?
I think human being deserve trust and love at first sight. Then if he's bad, you just walk away. But everybody deserves trust and love.
And that's why your car does too.
Your car.
But the analogy is that your car is you, like the full self-drive mode is you. And when you do like because we shot this video. We were going in Seattle, and it wasn't full self-drive. It was like assisted supervised self-drive, and we were shooting this video where Master was like, okay, we're gonna shoot like this Tesla is like driving itself, and it is driving
It
itself
is
on
driving
the
itself.
highway. You
It
can
is.
take your hands off the steering
You
wheel
can
from
take
time
a
to
nap.
time. Yeah,
On the highway, you
Yeah.
can tape a nap.
exactly, and many
Until
people
you
have done
hit
it.
a red light.
Many people have done it, and so we tried it. And I have to say, like the first time, I was really, you want to put your hands back on. Yeah, you kind of, there's a pull there. You want to, but at one point you're like, wow. After like that kind of goes away, and there's more cars, and like your car like decides to pass another car and stuff like that. You're like, okay, I'm okay. I'm getting comfortable with this, because you have to readapt what you're looking out for, right? Since the car is looking out for some things, then you can actually look out for other things, or just be more mindful of other things. It's controlling the speed, so you don't have to think about the speed anymore. It gives you like more space to actually be more prudent, but on these other things. It's like an addition, I feel. It's like complementary. So don't look at the speed anymore, because the car is doing that. So you can look at, let's say, the signs, or if there's another car that seems to be coming out of nowhere, farther away.
And just like in relationship, when you start trusting the car and it goes fine, it's more relaxing. You're less stressed of everything because somebody's taking some core or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
what to
some
say.
of the load on
the
you.
load.
And you, Master, have driven a bit more than me in self-drive, especially on the highways when we were doing like long highway. So long travels. And you said often, like, you arrive and you're a lot less, even when you arrive. You're like, throughout, it's more pleasurable, but even you get there to where you wanted to go, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm ready to do stuff. I don't feel like stressed. I don't feel drained.
And when a girl in a relationship decide to trust, she's going to be more relaxed and she's going to be able to do more things. She's going to be less stressed, just like the analogy of the car.
Just like when you drive your car, same but different. But it takes like, so you go through all these stages. So the cruise control stage, this kind of like first stage. So you take you take the accelerator. So the accelerator gets controlled, and then you have, of course, you always have the brake. Then after that, you go into like line assist, and maybe it can park itself. So that's how you slowly give more trust, but that's also how you give yourself trust. I feel like submission, for some people, they're like, oh, the submissive has all the control, or not. This is bullshit. No, it's not like that. This is not like that. But there is a point, and I think it keeps on evolving, where as a submissive, as much as a master, you do build more trust upon yourself. If you lack a little bit of trust in yourself, like everybody does, I think, the fact is this person is giving you some of their trust, and then you're building your own trust in the same time. So everything goes up. It's like the more control you give to the car, the more full FSD you give it, then the more it can do what it's meant to do, and that is full FSD. Well, same thing for you. The more you can just be the human behind the wheel and make these judgment calls, because you have some of the experience that the AI does not have necessarily and the car doesn't have. So that would be like phase 2, and then phase 3. Well, you can totally like self-drive, and then phase 4, you're FSD. I mean, you're letting go. You're able to let go.
Just like you.
Just like me. You're like, yes, master. Okay, we do this. And it's not just in sex. It's not just in these specific scenes. You can more and more let go in all of these spheres of your life for the right worthy master, of course, and to achieve everything you want to achieve as a couple, but also as an individual. So, have you ever grabbed the wheel when you shouldn't have, while you were driving FSD, or while you were maybe on cruise control? Tell us if you have control issues.
Tell us. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment for control issues.
Once upon a time, there was this submissive woman who found her voice when she discovered that her shadow could speak.
Let's break down the book, chapter by chapter, scene by scene.
you can call now. 236-454-0385.
Put it on the chat.
Yeah, that's the number. I should put it on
People
the
are
chat.
way shy.
Well, yeah, but
I
we.
didn't put it on the screen this time
Oh, that's why.
because I have trust issue with my computer.
Call now. Ta-da. Okay, so this is the phone number. When we are live, we definitely pick it up because we have everything set up. When we're not live, though, you can leave a message or just tell us about anything. It's a Google phone. So don't worry about disturbing or anything like that. It's meant for you to call it.
We will not pick it up at midnight
No,
and hear some whispering stuff.
that or hey, I'm in jail. Can you? No,
No.
don't call for that. Call your lawyer for that one. But if not, you can definitely call us. Whenever you feel like it, to talk about the book, to talk about submission, domination,
Whatever.
whatever. We're very open to all of that. Talking about trust and about submission and the architecture of trust. Well, if we go back to our real relationship and we go back to the book, Why Submissive Women Are Happier. Ta-da! Well, there is a chapter that's actually called, it's chapter 6. It's called The Architecture of Trust. And that's really in the beginning chapters because there's 25 chapters in total. And this one is the beginning with Master. It's where it really starts. We become exclusive. Not that we weren't really exclusive. For 2 minutes it wasn't said.
It's after 1 week. Are we exclusive? Oh, yeah.
That's 3 weeks, Master.
3
It's
weeks,
3
3
weeks.
It's going to be soon our wedding.
Yes, our wedding anniversary
When?
in 4 days.
4 days. We
4
need
days.
to. Oh, Jesus. We didn't plan anything.
No, on January 10th, it's our wedding anniversary. It's going to be 5 years.
5 years.
5 years we're
To
married.
have a congratulations.
Congratulations to ourselves. We have this thing though with our wedding anniversary. Since we have such a big age gap, 23 years, we do we do increments of 5 years for each wedding anniversary. Or else I'm never gonna get to 75. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen.
So every year we kind of Google it, we check where we're at. But yeah, for us it goes in increments so that we get to the good stuff before the end of Master's longevity. Yeah. Now talking about the book and trust and submission. It took little things, right? It took for me to actually ask if we were exclusive. That was something I need to do to see how much trust I can put into Master and into our relationship. Back then it wasn't Master even yet. I mean, we weren't there. Did you Google the anniversaries?
It's fine. Too much trouble. I
Okay.
need to ask Chloe.
It's complicated, because it depends on the people, it depends on a lot of things. It's porcelain, wood. We did wood already.
Yeah.
I remember us doing wood. We did paper. We did origami for paper.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. So we do that every time. So it wasn't, and also when I met Master, it was about he was investing in me, not just in time, right? In other things. So I think those questions you need to have at the beginning to gauge trust, not by saying bluntly oh, you need to gain my trust. I think that's just normal. You can ask, don't even mention it. Just do things that will reflect that, because it's really, I think, about actions. You build trust through actions and really not through words. Saying things doesn't make it real. You can say it, you can hope for it, but in the end, it's really what the person does. And that was a big thing with us at the beginning, but it still is today. I mean, if we want to arrive at something, we do it. There's this doing phase. It's not just talking about it. Talking is for brainstorming meetings and things like that. But in the end, if you want something to happen, you need to make it happen. So when Master said, oh, I'll help you take care of your money, well, then he showed me how to do accounting. That was an action. That was legit, call the bank, and was with me while I called the bank. So those are things that come in real life, and that makes you trust the person, because you're oh, they're also showing you their skills, right? They're showing you that they're able to do these things. So money is always a big thing for relationships.
There's people divorce because of two things: money and sex.
Yeah. So we started like that, and then there was also it augmented in the way that we had these actions like the business actions, but the love actions, all these things like saying we were exclusive, things like that. But then also our relationship evolved into these more symbolism of our relationship, and that's the same for marriage. Like you get a ring when you get married, and this becomes like a symbol. Some couples have other symbols. There's many different types of symbols. Sometimes it's a bracelet that you offer one or another. We're not talking about socks. I don't think socks count.
No.
No, we're talking about jewelry. And I had also like the leather collar and the leash. Like that became a really big symbol. Still is a really big symbol of our love and our commitment to each other, loyalty, respect, devotion, and all of these things. So by having that always out in the open, right? You see it, you feel it, but it also reminds you of this, and it shows the public that too. It shows your bond in that way, and I think that's very important to kind of keep outside. Like for you to see it again, it's out of your head, out of your head in the real world makes it more real in that sense. Yeah. So in the book, I talk about all of those little things that Master and I did to kind of build this trust. But Master, you did some things too to build trust in me and in how much you were investing in our relationship, in the love, but also in me as an individual for the business. Like you told me often to go tell my parents things before we would do it.
Because again, like most people, it's not because you're a submissive that you should be dumb. You should learn stuff, and I think a master needs to teach. But most people doesn't want to, just like the other couple that we met, the guy didn't want to tell us what kind of lenses he was using for a camera because he had trust issue. Again, it's always trust, but if you're dominant, if you're sure about yourself, you should.
Give openly, right?
Give openly, exactly that. That was
the more confident you are in yourself, the more usually open you are, and you're not scared of people either stealing your ideas, your material, like the lenses. It was like, oh, if I tell this guy my lenses, then he's gonna use them and he's gonna make more money with his content because he has good lens. But it's more than that. It's never about the lens. It's always about the work. But some people still think that, and that's why like sometimes if you see people that are overly confident, sometimes you do think that they are more dominant, and that's kind of like a weird a weird push and go, because there's this like aura of dominance, but then again, if it's too much, you're like, well, that's kind of fake. Usually real dominance or real mastery, if you have really a skill, it's a lot more quiet and palpable. Like it will mostly show when you are like confronted to that skill, a bit like with the lenses. It's like, well, I want to know your lenses because I know all the lenses. Because you know all the lenses.
I know everything. What do you use? I'm not going to tell you. Why? Why?
Why?
Why?
Were you scared though? It's just a lens. But that's the thing, the trust. And the trust needs to be implemented as fast as possible, because as soon as it's there or not there, well, that's how you can start to submit and grow. Because if you trust that this person has this particular skill, or if you trust that what they're saying is true, that they have this amount of knowledge, this amount of money, or this amount of wisdom, or whatever they have, then, well, by trusting them, you'll be able to submit more, to listen. Just listening to somebody is a form of submission, because you're letting like these words and these things like enter you, and this changes you or changes your perspective. But if you're listening without this trust, well, you're kind of just cock blocking all the time.
Yeah.
So you're just saying no in your mind, and then none of that will be assessed with like the curiosity that you would need to actually to make it change your life or make it do something to you in that sense. So there was a lot of back and forth between Master and I through the trust. It was not just me. It's not because you're the sub in the relationship that the trust needs to come just from you, and same from the master. I mean, it's a two-way street. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm giving all the trust. I think it goes both ways.
And the master need to trust also or is submissive because is she lying or not? So
Yeah.
that's a trust because most of the time the girls lie about submission. So that's a
To get
trust that
money
to
or-
get whatever she wants.
Yeah. Money, security, or well, whatever girls want in general. Guys, it's different. Sex and other things. Because we're different sexes. It's just like that. And there is this. So as much as you grow within that relationship and within that trust, I feel like I was able to trust myself a lot more, and I do know that I trust myself a lot more nowadays than I did before, for sure. But sometimes you need that push. You need somebody to trust you before you can trust yourself, or you need somebody to love you before you can love yourself. Like there is this little seed that needs to be implemented for some people. But I think it's really the point of giving and then giving it to yourself. Giving and then giving it to yourself. If you don't do that, then that's where it becomes imbalanced, and then that's where it gets weird. That's where like, oh, one person has like all the trust and the love, and the other one feels like, oh, I don't have any of it. So it's really about communication, right?
It's
Doing it.
always communication.
Always communication. So in the book, chapter 6 is all about how Master and I got together and how we started this kind of dance of trust and my submission, how it grew. Because the book is about really like how this trust grows. It doesn't just plateau, and it doesn't stop. I mean, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, or like deeper and deeper and deeper, whichever you want to use. Both are fine.
It's time to gossip, girl. Let's gossip with the girl with the choker. Spill the tea, let the world unfurl. She's the queen and we're the jokers.
Favorite stinger ever. You are listening to the Happy Submissive podcast. Thank you for tuning in, dropping in, watching live if you're watching, or, well, anything you want to do with the podcast. We're all good with it. You can also share it with a friend. And that leads us to our Gossip Girls segment.
My favorite one.
What happened this week? In our celebrity gossip. Well, it's going to be celebrity myself, but also involves another woman.
Woo.
Which I didn't really know her. I was just on Instagram, and I'm trying to, do things like the normal people do on Instagram and on social media. So I saw this woman. I think she is probably in her 20s. I'm not even sure. And she had this T-shirt, vintage T-shirt, and it was like the movie cover for Deep Throat. So that's a porno. It's like a 1970s-ish porno. It's really famous, almost as famous as Debbie Does Dallas. Yeah, we were talking about that. And I was like, oh, awesome T-shirt. I said something like that. I don't recall everything, but that's how I kind of saw her, met her on Instagram. And then didn't think much of it, moved on, did other things, interacted with other content. And about a few days ago, there's some guy on X, so Twitter, who was like, hey, Marianne, I think it was Marianne, or maybe it was Piper, and he said, there's this girl that did this. And I was like, what? Okay, so I clicked the link, and I was on X, so if you know that, well, on X there's everything. You can post pornography, you can post, and it was of that nature. So there's this girl that's there in the post, and she's holding a book, and I realized, hey, it's my book. She's holding Why Submissive Women Are Happier, and she's kind of reading it. She's laying down on what appears to be maybe a couch, maybe a mattress, and she is, well, in her birthday suit, and well, there's a machine there.
He's using a machine.
And there's a machine, and you can pretty much see like all of her, all of her. There's nothing left to the
And
imagination.
she was really watering.
Yeah, and
Just
there's
like a plant.
it was watering. It was watering.
And it was shaking, and she was able to read.
And she was holding the book and she was reading. At one point, like, she looks down to see everything's okay, and the water's like spurting out, and she's goes back to the book.
Yeah.
and so that's the video. It lasts like a few seconds. I think like maybe 20, something like that, 20, 30 seconds. And I look at it, and first things I'm kind of like, is this AI generated?
I don't think AI is able to generate that.
No, probably
You know,
not.
no,
but
they
I was
can't.
like, is this really my book? Like, is it? So I blow it up. Like literally, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, it's like you could see a little bit the back of it, la quatrième de couvre. So I was like, no, this is actually like this
This is the real
my
book.
book. This is the real book. She didn't just print the top. Like
She bought it.
She had to buy the paperback on Amazon. So I keep investigating. I scroll down and I see like, wow, 2.5 million views on this video. And there's no like tag. So there's no tag of why submissive women are happier, no tag of happy submissive, no tag of my name, no nothing like that. So at this point, I'm on my computer, Master's on his, and I'm like, Master, you need to see this. And he's like, what? I'm like, you need to see this. And I can't explain it. I'm like, I'm just gonna, a video is worth 1 trillion words. So he turns around and I start the video and we watch it together. And we're like, whoa. And if you're thinking we're like, whoa, because of the video, no, that's not why we're whoaing.
Well,
That's not it.
people, you need to go to. Can you write your
Yeah,
X
yeah. You
account
need
there?
to go
You know,
to-
to go there and watch Marianne's react to that video because it's priceless. Because I was weirded out about it in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, so Master and I we talk about it. So who's this woman? First of all, who's this woman? I pieced it together that I did saw her on Instagram and I did like her t-shirt. Now, I don't know. We didn't talk more than that. I don't know if that's how we followed each other, if I followed her then, or if she was like, oh, and then she replied and maybe she checked and she saw that I made the book. She saw that I was also, I had done adult, not sure, but she's from Quebec, Montreal. Her name is Eden Ivy. And well, so she's there. She's on social media. She's doing things. She's definitely out there. She did this video. She does a whole bunch of stuff on her X account that are all very adult oriented. And so I looked again this morning before the podcast, and it was now at 2.9 million views. She actually uploaded it on December 18th. Sorry, but I saw it only on this like in January. I just saw it. Like I said, there was no hashtags, no no nothing like that. So it's kind of like free publicity.
Yeah, and you know what? She should do that because you sell a lot of book.
I did
There-
sell a lot of books during that time
So
period.
we don't know if it's her, but let's say that it's her.
Well, there's
I
a-
would do book review like that all the time. I would accept money, you
Yeah.
know, for book review. You don't need to read the book. You just need to show the cover and
Exactly.
use the machine.
And the comments. So of course I went in the comments. I answered a few of the comments to get like engagement going. We redid the video, reshared, retweeted. But there was all these interesting comments on like she must be deep in this book.
That was the comments was worth reading.
This is good comments. So I also gained like 200 new subscribers to my X account. Thank you to Eden. And there was a bit of back and forth. There's some people that stayed, some people that left. But it's very interesting because it was a great prop that she used. Why submissive women are happier while doing these things with the machine. And also, well, it was great for my book because, like Master said, well, it was the holidays. We did have an ad running. We also had a post on Instagram that got like 1.4 million views, so that also drove book sales. Then there was this post from Eden that got 2.5 million views that definitely also drove book sales, but that's kind of like I can't count that because I don't know where they're coming from, but for sure. So there's like and then the podcast on all like the platforms got a lot of downloads. Like one day we had 117 downloads of the podcast, so everything kind of blew up a little bit at the same time. So it's like it's crazy. We had no idea where it was coming from.
But we like to think it's because of her.
Yes, Yes, definitely. Thank you, Eden. Well, definitely she got more views than, than all the rest of the things going on. And so you can definitely go check this out. And that got us thinking that maybe we should do like a little challenge. Like, how do you read Why Submissive Women Are Happier? Because I had never thought that people would read the book like that. That was like surprising.
How many chapters she can read like that?
Yeah. Yeah, because the full book might be a good 8 hours read.
I don't think she can hold it.
That'd be a lot. But if you read Why Submissive Women Are Happier, if you have it with you, show us your weirdest reading position or your weirdest reading place. Because some people, like, we don't have the hardcover yet, but if you're listening to this in the time frame continuum, maybe we will. So you can't really take away the front page. If you're reading the paperback, you will get Why Submissive Women Are Happier and people will see it. which is what we want.
Yeah, exactly that.
But so she used it to her advantage, and I can't wait to know if other people will use it, like film people's reaction on the subway or stuff like that. So make sure that you hashtag Happy Submissive or you hashtag Why Submissive Women Are Happier, or just at me, like Marianne Delacroix, depending on which social media you're on, so that we can really like track all these great utilization of Why Submissive Women Are Happier, the book. I think it's a challenge.
It's going to be the challenge.
Yeah.
Where you read that book. After the Ice Bucket Challenge, the Read That Book Challenge.
Why submissive women are happier? Is it the lie or the laughter? Hold your tongue and hold your breath. Is it life or just a softer death?
We have somebody listening from Finland. That's cool. We also have more French. Bonsoir, bonjour, depending on where you're at in the world. We actually have people listening to the podcast in 60 different countries. Yeah. So, I mean, it's getting there. Wherever you're from, it's available and you can definitely get into it. Okay, so I had like some questions prepped, but this is like the end of the podcast, always Q&A. If you want to call in, please do. The phone number is 236-454-0385.
Call now.
Call now. We're gonna have like a smooth operator moment. Smooth operator. Okay, Master, these are cool questions,
Okay,
because
cool.
it's like about what we were saying with women being always like very defensive on like trust, submission. I feel like since the feminist movement, women have been like, oh, I'm not gonna give it away, or like they have to already have a barricade when it comes to trust and submission. It's like it's already there. Okay. So my partner wants me to submit but hasn't earned my trust yet. What do I do?
Oh,
But I think
okay, that's the bitch. That's
Yeah.
the bitch attitude right
Yeah.
away.
well, because it's like earn my trust. Well, you need to how you need to know what earned your trust is for you. Because it's so different for different type of people. And like I'm not saying you have to read all the like the 5 ways of love. And I'm a person who likes the touch and the gift, and I'm a person who likes like gestures, whatever. It's not really about that. It's like, well, what is earning trust for you? Because like it's always about the mind reading stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want somebody to earn, if you think you want them to earn your trust, well, then tell them what to do to earn it so they can do it in that way. And if you're scared like they're manipulators or stuff like that, well, then maybe they're not the right person for you.
Yeah,
If
'cause
you're already
follow-
thinking that,
Yeah,
I mean,
if you already thinking that the guy is gonna take advantage of you, you run away.
Yeah.
Don't stay there. You know.
don't try it
Don't
out.
try it out.
Just find another person that you feel you trust. Or there would be basis for trust to that. So I think this is like the wrong way to ask the question. It shouldn't be that way. It should be like, oh, for me, trust is about like, and when we met, Master and I would always say that. I said, I'm not telling you I love you right away because I feel like it's meaningless. I need to like really feel it. And it needs to really happen. And we had this thing where we didn't really say it for a bit.
for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Because I had like issues because my mother, of course, who else?
Who else?
Well, 'cause
Call
she's-
Ferd. Call now.
Because she would always say, I love you, but there's no actions behind it, right? And so for me, love is a lot more about actions, but just life is about actions. If you love someone and you can't do these things for them, then there's no point in saying it. A word is just empty. There's just nothing to it. So with Master, it was a big thing at the beginning. I said it, but I made it clear. I didn't say that like it's not because I'm not loving you or anything like that. It's just this word has so many things to it that don't make sense to me, that I'm gonna say it when I really feel it, but I also want you to say it when like it happens, not just like, oh, I love you. I think there's this thing too, and we talked about that often, and even with our submissives, if you're two and if you're there and you're like trying to love, right, it's okay to say like, oh, I like you, or I love this about you and I love you in that way, but it's not. I think we can all agree that it's not like yet like love,
Yeah. With a big L.
with a big L. As long as it's said. And if you are like, or if you tried to be in a trouble or three people together with an already established couple, like Master and I are or were back then, I mean, then of course you need to put more focus and attention on that one person, like that one girl, because if not, like, you're already so solid together that it has to be that. And I find that it's like, that's bad. That's like most things in life. Then we have like the gaslighting and all these other things where, some people they're just trying. They're just trying. And like, if you take it word for word, then it means what it means. But if you take it in the context really, and if you're like, oh, we're trying to do this together, then yeah, love makes sense as a word in the beginning. So it depends on who you are and what you want to do. But again, that's a way to earn trust. If you put it out there, then the person knows what to do to earn your trust per se, because it's always different.
Yeah, everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Okay, I keep grabbing the wheel even when he's doing fine. How do I stop? These are all very womanly questions.
Yeah, yes. Just stop.
Yeah, just try
stop.
it.
Just try it.
What's the worst that can happen? I mean, it's like, I think it was in Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. And he says like, so he talks about the guy being lost in the car and the girl wanting to like unlost them, right? And I feel, I feel that's like put the GPS, or like, oh no, turn there. And you need to have one captain. You need to have one person who like, tries to get out, tries to go there.
And what's the worst?
Yeah,
gonna
you're late
get
for
lost?
dinner.
You're late for dinner.
You
What's-
find a new neighborhood that you might move in later.
Talk. I don't say things,
Yeah.
know? Like, be
Well,
cool about it. Like,
yeah.
the guy's going to try to figure it out. What's the worst going to happen? The worst. You're going to run out of gas and you're going to call the sea. And what?
It's going to be a good story.
Yeah, it's going to
It's
be a
gonna
good story.
And I think this is like the time to kind of try it out more in these little things, right? In these little things. Because there's also this that was also in this book. And it was, well, if you don't trust someone on the little things, how can you expect them to think that you trust them on the big things, right? So if you're like, you don't trust them to prep the meal, or to get to where you want to go in the car, and it's your first time and you get lost, well, let them like undo it themselves, because that just gives them the liberty or the thinking of, oh, okay, this person trusts me. So if we go into bigger, more intense conversations and things like that, they will trust me to lead too. Like
Yeah,
the man
'cause
will trust that.
If you're in a car and you already slept with the person and everything is fine, let's say that,
Yeah.
and the girl say, last time I got lost on the car and then we made love for 2 hours. It's going to make smile the guy, and he's going
He's gonna get lost right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just get lost
So,
right now.
Everything's going to be fine, Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. How long did it take you to fully trust Master? That's another interesting one. I think it's always, people always go to extremes, and you can explain life way easier in extremes. Master and I love extremes. We always go there because if you go to the extreme, then I mean you've understand the concept. Like it's death or life. It's that easy.
No 50 Shades of Grey.
No, but life is more complex than that. It's more 50 Shades in that way. And so fully trust, I mean, that depends, right, on the timeline of us together And then, well, what do you mean by fully trust? Like, he's not a surgeon. I will not let him operate me. And master, you wouldn't let me operate you either.
No,
So
no,
this
let's
is
not
like,
do that.
people are like, oh yeah, he's your master, so he can do everything. Like, no, he's gonna find me a good surgeon. He's not gonna do it himself. Like this, this is not what fully trust means. So just to clarify, I fully trust master on everything in life that is within his domain. I mean, within we're married, we're together, within all
And
of that.
If one day says like I'm gonna operate on you, run away. I mean, I'm crazy now. You know, I'm not a surgeon. This is
You're an
common
artist.
sense.
You're a
I'm an artist.
publicist. If I'm like, master, do we use this title or this title? Yeah, fully trust him. Always fully trust him. Fully trust him when he says like, okay, we're doing this. Either if it's business move, a personal move, we're going there, we're meeting these people, all of that. You change your hair. That's fully trust. It's like he decides. But yeah, for things like that's where people go though. I know this question is not what it seems like.
I'm super drunk and I'm gonna drive the car. Trust me.
No, no, master, you go in backseat. I drive the car. I didn't drink. I mean, this is just common sense.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the problem. Not the problem, but I think that people don't understand common sense and submission.
Well, then the 50 Shades of Grey,
And
right?
the
The
50 Shades.
nuances that there's full trust. Yes, full trust is a thing, but I won't let master put himself in danger, put myself in danger, or put other people in danger. That's just the norm.
And I think also you trust me because I will not drive stone
Exactly.
or high.
No, you won't.
So you won't. I'm not like that.
No.
So you trust me. So I've showed you that you can trust me. We're never gonna argue about it because I've showed you that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you've earned my trust on that side, many other sides, but that's who you are. If I wanted someone who drives stone, I would have just stayed with my family. Can you trust too fast? I think like we said at the beginning, right?
I trust super fast. I give love and trust right away.
Yeah, right away. You just all out there.
Yeah.
But then you have the confidence that you can take it back whenever. And I think that's the most important thing. Because you get, again, when you go to the extremes, you get there faster. If you give your trust and love to somebody super fast, you get to the real issues or the real
And then you realize that that
mismatches.
person was not honest.
Exactly. Because if you give your honesty and all that all the way through, that person's going to be scared
Yeah.
mostly of them being dishonest and all of these things. Okay, that's great. Thank you everybody for being there. We have Adam who also dropped in. This is awesome. Don't forget that you can share this podcast, yes, with anybody that you think might be offended by it. Let's start there.
Please do. You can also offer your book
Yes.
anonymously.
Yes, we have inputted this new send a gift feature on it's on Marianne, mdelacroix.com. Don't worry about it. You can go to happysubmissive.com too if you're Anglophone. It's way easier. If not, mdelacroix.com. And when you click on the EPUB version, so the EPUB version of the book is a version you can download anywhere. So if you have an iPad, an iPod, all these things, a Google Android phone, a Kobo, instead of like Kindle or Amazon, that is possible. So you can just download it and you can gift it to someone anonymously. Yeah, I know a lot of wives
wife.
and girlfriends. So it takes care of all of that for you. Plus, you will receive, you receive the receipt and you receive all these things. The other person through their email address receives the actual book, the EPUB book. So that's, again, it's a digital format book. And as soon as they download it, you are notified. So you know if they downloaded it, if they actually opened the thing. So that's a cool feature because a lot of people have been asking that to gift it to their girlfriend, wives, friends, girlfriends, things like that. But we're feeling very shy about it or didn't know how to do that. So the podcast is a great icebreaker if you want to just put the podcast there, play it on your speaker and be like, oh, I don't know, it was just next up in line. I have no idea how it got there. And then later on, if you have the guts and want to open up to these subjects, well, just actually gift the book anonymously. Super easy. And they will never know it was you.
You know, we got one library, free library in our building.
Yes.
You know, most building have that.
Yes.
Just tell your wife, I find this book there.
That's great. That's great.
So order it on Amazon.
Yeah, rough it up a little.
Rough it up a little bit. Hey, I find that downstairs.
Yeah.
You should read it.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Marianne Delacroix, also infamously known all over the internet as Piper Blush. You can follow me on both. And Master is getting some traction on his Instagram.
Yeah, wow. Je suis une vraie putaclic. I got followers now.
You got followers now.
It's I know how those girl feels now. I got a follower. Makes me hard.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.